My lord, what in the green hell is going on here?
We got Lacabra on pole position with Mullet in P2, Gran Turismo in P3, Lice Rat, and away we go. Oh, it looks like already in the background a bit of commotion.
Will he be able to show that he has some tricks up his sleeve coming across the line with a 149.11? Corporal Nurple is out of the pits on the hards, as is Jay. Will he be able to take a podium off of him? Oh, he's past Jay, who's still in the pits. This is going to be very interesting, folks. And Popeye's in the lead. Oh, Salamander is coming.
Around the corner, so away we go. And of course, driver's getting away nicely as Sneak is the first one to go into this turn now. Look at that. That is a beautiful shot as he just slightly clips the wall on the outside there.
Jump back on the softs and try and have a strong finish. Oh, did CBD driver just get some air?
But maybe that mistake has cost him the race win as we go into the braking zone for the very last time. And
Shanti's out of fuel.
Schulz, is he out of fuel?
It looks like it. Yeah, Shanti's out.
Wow, he's out of fuel, guys. He's out of fuel. Will Whitco take the race win? No.
He just...
This race now really turning on its head. As you can see, Spawn really struggling there. We've got Slipstream just in front of Sneaky at the moment. There's literally nowhere for Sneaky to go at this point in time. It's moved. Oh, you can see him wiggling all over the track at the moment.
Thank you for that second position, and looks like he's going to work to keep the door closed if he can. But
as they go too wide over the jump.
Holy cow! Oh, one man got buried.
If it doesn't come, those things are going to get eaten up quick.
They're going to
lose a lot of time as Gran Turismo goes off the track and there's contact.
Oh, and contact.
Oh, Mullet will know here that he really needs to hold these off as much as possible. And Sneaky goes up the outside, around the outside, should I say, of Mullet. Mullet just parking his car in front of Moose Slipstream. This is really hurting Slipstream right now because Slipstream is in P4 and look at Sneaky. Sneaky just accelerating away now. Oh, big contact between Slipstream, Moose, and onto Mullet as well, P2 as well of MD Hopper. Maybe go for a bold move, but there's MD Hopper swerving from left to right, really not giving Mullet a chance to get through. There's a slight bit of contact as well as we go through the braking zone. Mullet too deep on the brakes into the wall. Yeah, slides, maybe got on the brakes a little bit too late, slides into the barrier. And he's got big damage now. Big damage, surely. He goes sideways. Oh!
Hello and good evening. Welcome to the glorious return of the NRL for its 4th season.
Woo-hoo. Woo!
We are back, baby. We're back. And we are back after 209 days, but who's been counting? And boy, have we missed not only the league, but all of you watching as well. If you're new here, allow me to introduce all of us. My name is Toon, and I am accompanied by two amazing gentlemen. First is a man that has been alongside me since day one, and that would be the one, the only, Slow-Mo. Slow-Mo, my friend, how are you feeling?
Oh, I am pumped. We got an awesome group of drivers. We got an exciting qualifying tonight. This is going to be awesome. I cannot wait to see how Season 4 plays out here.
Excellent, excellent. Next up is a man that eats, sleeps, and breathes motorsport, the recruiting manager for PHG, and an overall great guy, Leo. Leo, how's it feel to be back for your 2nd season?
Oh, man, it is so fantastic. I am ecstatic to see how this one goes. 209 days is a long time to be away, and I am so happy it's back.
Glad to hear it. Now, enough of the formalities. Let's get into the details with Slow-Mo for this upcoming season.
So, we have an exciting new lineup for Season 4 of the Naughty Racing League, and it works like this. During the sign-up period, the drivers had the option to race exclusively on Fridays or Saturdays, where there will be 5 rounds of competition, starting with the qualifying round tonight, and tomorrow afternoon, where the 28 drivers from each day are going to move on to the competition. Those guys are going to compete in 3 rounds where they're going to battle to accumulate as many points as they can, with it all wrapping up on the 9th of November, where they're going to have the grand final, and that race will be winner takes all. The top 14 throughout tonight and tomorrow afternoon are going to be placed in Division A, with the following 14 being placed in Division B. Anybody who places below 28th place is unfortunately not going to proceed any further, but rest assured, any drivers that don't make the cut are going to receive a full refund of their entry fee. After the 3rd round of competition is concluded, the top 14 drivers from each division across both days will advance to the illustrious grand final for the divisions, which once again will be winner takes all, and the grid will be set by overall championship points. So first in overall standings will start pole, second will start in second position, and so on and so forth from there. All the drivers, regardless of their points and starting position, that make it to the finals have a chance to take the NRL Season 4 championship.
Thank you, Slow-Mo. Now, this is going to definitely be an exciting season. Without a shadow of a doubt, it's definitely already shaping up to be the biggest season so far. And yeah, it seems every season of this league, it's just growing exponentially larger. Slow-Mo, you've been here with me since day one. Am I the only one struggling to keep up with all these new faces?
No, there are so many new faces, and you know it's interesting because we don't know where that bubble's going to be. Who's going to be in Division A? Who's going to be in Division B? And unfortunately, there's going to be some people that are going to be eliminated from Fridays and Saturdays. Maybe they're new faces, maybe they're not. We just don't know how this is going to play out.
Could not agree with you. I could not agree with you more. But now, with all of that said, let's go and take a look at the drivers and the details for tonight's qualifier. So for tonight's qualifier, we are off to the Sunshine State, California, to do a 15-minute qualifier in God's racing car, the Mazda MX-5 touring car. There will be 3 times fuel and tire. They will be on the racing soft tires, and damage is set to heavy, so drivers will have to box to repair any damage that they sustain during this qualifier. Since this is a preliminary qualifying session, there are no points to be allocated this evening, so Slow-Mo gets to take the night off from explaining how all of that works. But as you can see on screen, the top 14 qualifying drivers once again will be in Division A, the following 14 will be in Division B, and anybody that hits 29 or lower, unfortunately, will not make it any further in this competition. Making our way over to the driver list for this split, we have Fernando Button, Beef Castle, Deputy Fishtail, Talon, PHG Shaggy Doo, Crewlib 11, Velvet Thunder, PHG Turbo, MK, PDX Vario, Racer 51, and WID. Listed under their names are the teams they are affiliated with or their free agency. And there's also their social media information for YouTube and or Twitch, and feel free to give them a look because they might even be streaming their perspective of it. Now, while we wait for all of this to get underway and we start seeing one of 3 splits for qualifying this evening, Leo, you done a few laps in the MX-5. You recently did it in T-Case's multi-class lobby. For those watching at home, what can you tell them about the car on this track?
Yeah, so the Mazda MX-5 has been around since the early 90s. The touring, I don't know too much about. I'm sure it is like a IMSA-style vehicle. It is a momentum-based car. So what that means is that it is not a very quick car, but it does handle staying at speed very well. It does not like hitting those sausages that are on this track. You can have the potential of hitting one of those and doing a complete barrel roll. So these drivers need to pay attention to that. Other than that, it's an overall grand time to drive. I mean, you can rev this thing out. You can do so much side-by-side racing. I know I had a blast with T-Case doing his multi-class, and me and him had a good battle on another driver, and it's easy to predict what the car is going to do. So,
All right, I understand. Thank you for that insight, Leo. Now let's go and get this underway and take a look at the racing action. It feels good to be back, and qualifier will be starting just about now. Let's see who will be the first one out of the pits. Now, once again, they've only got 15 minutes for this, so they don't have to be perfect, but I'd say consistency will definitely be a benefiting factor here. What do you think, Slow-Mo?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different strategies these drivers could use. I think the car is a little bit tricky where, maybe you want to be gentle on it the first couple laps. I've seen some guys in qualifying that can get 10 laps. I've heard some people talk about maybe getting an 11th lap. So, it'll be interesting to see if you have anybody doing fuel saving in the first couple laps or trying to get rid of fuel is actually probably the better strategy. You gotta get those tires warmed up though. It takes them a lap or two to get them going. So I think you're going to see guys being a little cautious on the first couple laps, but I could be wrong. You could see some guys pushing it really hard.
Yeah, you've really got a good point, because it could be people are just getting their sense of familiarity with the track and, getting the tires up to speed, maybe whittling down the fuel tank just a little bit to lighten the load and get a little faster time, or they could just be absolutely sending it, as we are keeping an eye on Wid, who is leading a huge gaggle of cars right now and is heading up into turn 11 now to finish his outlap and get on to the first hot lap of this 15-minute qualifier. Coming around the hairpin quite nicely, and yeah, I mean, everybody's had plenty of time to practice with this. Leo, you've spent time practicing with people. I think earlier there were, 6 different practice lobbies up? And for those of you watching at home, if you take a look at the bottom left corner of your screen, you will see a driver card with their nationality, their driver name, their team association, the hardware that they are using, be it a Logitech, a Thrustmaster, Fanatec, or even a controller. And right there at the bottom will be their YouTube and or Twitch if it is applicable. But yeah, Leo, we saw a bunch of people doing practice lobbies. You know how it goes at this rate. NRL comes back, it pretty much consumes everybody's lives. And how's it feel like after 209 days, seeing everybody working together and practicing and just trying to push themselves to be better?
Oh man, it is a fantastic thing to see. Usually you got, the dailies, which are, the dailies. But to see this large of a community come together, help people out, it almost makes the game worth it nowadays. You got everyone from the PHG crew to everybody that watches McNaughty to everybody everywhere has had a lobby open at one point in time, even when it got announced, before the settings were set. Everybody was chomping at the bit to figure out what it was, what everything was about, and just going crazy.
And Leo, just want to quickly throw out, Wid comes across the line with a blisteringly quick 129.486. Velvet Thunder, aka Tuzzenbox, comes around with a 131.224. Yeah, they've been practicing, and it shows. A 129. That is insanely fast. Now, as we take a look at Velvet Thunder, he is a free agent driving on a Fanatec DD+, and you can find him on YouTube and Twitch at Tuzzenbox. Coming around into turn 5, actually heading up towards turn 5, my apologies. Keeping a nice line, avoiding the sausage, a little bit of a little bit of skidding on the tires, but was able to get around in nice, neat fashion. Heading up into turn 6, a very dicey corner. If you hit that sausage, it will knock you out so wide. And now onto the Rahal straight, leading up towards the corkscrew. He's definitely flying right now into the braking zone. That elevation change will probably catch some people that haven't been practicing enough, and it could cost you a very solid lap. Revving the nuts out of third and shifting into fourth, coming up into turn 10. I think Velvet Thunder here is going to be setting a pretty solid 130, maybe even a 129. Let's just wait and see. And it seems Talon has gone into the box. 26, 27, and let's see what it'll be. It will be a 130.2.
30.2.
A great bounce back from Velvet Thunder. Now, Leo, I assume you are currently cycling through the grid. Is anybody sticking out to you at the moment?
I noticed at the beginning, Shaggy Doo and MK decided to hang way back, so I don't know if they're just wanting some space from everybody so that way they could full send it or not, but I know they probably got some sort of strategy going on there. Other than that, of course, Talon was on a rip there until he went into the pits, so I guess he's going to be putting on a fresh set of softs, and that was probably all the fuel that he wanted to burn.
All right, and
that.
Okay, and as you saw on Varial's driver card, folks, this goes to show that it doesn't matter the hardware, you can do good on anything. As we see, PDX Varial is part of the PDX Sim team and is racing on a tried and true, fresh out of the box controller. So if you're thinking about getting into sim racing and you're worried about the cost of entry, you don't need anything other than a controller, and you can still be fast with it. If Varial can set a faster lap, only not even 0.04 of a second separating Varial and Racer 51. So this is going to be close, especially once both days of qualifying are over. I'd be surprised if the gap from P1 to P14 for any division is more than a second and a half. I think the new structure for this season definitely affords better matchups and just all in all closer racing. What are your thoughts, Slomo?
Yeah, I would agree. I love the way that the qualifying is then going to place them in their respectable divisions. I think that we're really going to see some heated battles through this with these guys. The skill level from top to bottom is strong. There's a lot of good drivers in here. So, like we said, there's unfortunately going to be some getting eliminated tonight, and if somebody doesn't get a good lap in, it could be them.
That is very true, but that's why practice is the most important thing when it comes to this league, because just one lackadaisical week, and that could be the difference between advancing to, say, something like the finals and going home and not being able to, be in contention for the championship and the cash prizes at the grand final. So they've really got to put in the effort, and in the entire time you and I have been doing this, it seems like 99% of everybody that partakes in this league just practices the loving daylights out of all this. As we now jump on board with Krulub 11, who apparently is letting Auto Drive do a quick little lap for him. Krulub is a free agent on a Logitech G29 racing wheel, and you can find him on YouTube at Matthew Bulwark 7374. And let's see what the Auto Drive sets, and that would be a 136.294. Not bad. I sure hope.
Not bad for Auto Drive.
I sure hope. Auto Drive.
Well, he's got a 33, a 34, a 33. So maybe maybe he hit a curb or something we didn't see.
Yeah, that could be the case. It's hard telling. There's a lot of drivers, a lot of racing action. Although I do see a good bit of the drivers are chilling in the pits. I wonder if they're already happy with their qualifying time, or if they're just stopping for a minute to catch their breath.
Well, and to that point, Krulov is a newer driver. I think he's only been on his sim for, I don't know, 3 or 4 months tops. So, you know how that goes. Maybe he accidentally hit the hazards and doesn't know it yet.
Yeah, but that also does happen to the best of us. I mean,
It
Leo
does.
hits his hazards all the stinking time. Isn't that right, Leo?
Yeah. And it's mostly not intentional, but somehow I find that button and turn all the lights on unintentionally.
Thank goodness there's no button map for your wipers or something, because it'd be
I would find it
quite interesting to watch. Now, Leo, since you did also race in this competition, maybe you could also speak to the importance of practice for, this league.
It is highly important. You pretty much got to be on your A game, and if you are not practicing, then you will have no idea what to do.
Oh, and we jumped to Fernando Button, who just spun out. Let's take a look at the instant replay and see what happened. All right, so we have Fernando Button coming up towards the corkscrew, getting the most out of the track and into the braking zone, coming in third, earned a second, and
there it is.
That elevation
That's
change.
what you were talking about earlier.
Yep. That corkscrew is by far and away one of the trickiest and most deadly corners that there can be. Pretty sure the real life corkscrew is just as deadly, is it not? Now, yes. Fernando Button is part of Team Beehive Racing, BHR for short, on a Logitech G29 race wheel. You can find him on YouTube at ShakyMark4969. Luckily, Fernando does have about 4 minutes left, so that should be this outlap in maybe 2 hot laps if I had to wager a guess?
I would think so.
While we've been rambling, I should throw out Wid has set a new fastest lap at a 129.2. So Wid is still finding ways to get closer and closer to that 128 range. I think Wid's definitely going to have the attention of the more established veterans of this league, just keeping an eye on him, because that is definitely not a time to scoff at. And we see Racer 51 lose a little grip, but was able to save it.
Good save.
Almost did a full 360, but very well saved from Racer 51. Let's see if he can bounce back from this with the last 3 minutes of this qualifying session. Racer 51 is part of Team Papa's House of Game, PHG, on the Fanatec DD Extreme, which I didn't know was already out. And you can find him on YouTube at Racer_51. I should make a note that there are a lot of PHG racers in this tournament. And fun fact, a little NRL history for those of you watching at home, a lot of the PHG members originally came from this league. I think Papa was just picking and choosing every free agent he could. And now it's how many, Mr. Recruitment Manager?
Confirmed drivers or in the racing league right now?
Just on the team.
I believe it's around 60 if I'm not mistaken.
Wow, my goodness.
Yeah.
As we jump on board over with MK, who is a free agent racing on the Logitech G Pro wheel. You can find him on YouTube at Maskoala, all one word. Let's take a look at what times MK has been setting. We've got a 131, a 144, 204, 130.6 is his personal fastest lap. That's a pretty solid lap right there.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
As we see MK coming into the corkscrew, using as much of the track on the left and straightening it out for the right and belting it down the hill. Already 2/10 off his personal fastest lap, I'm sorry. So we might see a 130.4 in the near future. And looks like coming into the braking zone, braking at the 2 marker, getting nice and close and accelerating out. Yeah, this is definitely going to be at least a 130.3. It has to be. That was just too good. 130.2. There we go. Moving on up the grid. He's now only 0.05 of a second right behind PDX Varial, and this will probably be his last attempt to chip away at the time. As we jump on over to Talon. who is starting another hot lap. Looks like fresh tank of fuel, fresh tires. So, I mean, it's just waiting in to see what goes on here. And we're gonna, there we go. Thought he might have, I thought Talon was gonna wind up hitting the sausage for a sec. I was getting a little nervous because, yeah. This is, oh my goodness. Fastest lap is a 128.9. Yeah.
That's fast.
Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting season, folks.
Yeah.
That is really, really quick.
You got the tip down as low as possible.
Toon, Leo, what do you guys think the bubble's going to be between the A and the B group here?
I mean, if you're talking about times that'll separate Division A and Division B,
yeah.
Honestly, it's a little too soon to tell, but I'd say anything higher than maybe a 129.9 might be Division B, but again, it is really, really soon. Like it's hard telling if we'll see anything. And Talon comes across the line with a 130.166. Well done, Talon. That was a very good lap. As we jump back on board with Velvet Thunder, who will be running his last lap of this qualifying session. Looks like fastest lap is a 130.1 dead, which is always nice to see. And understeering just a little bit.
Oh, just a little wide.
Gonna have to contend with those dirty tires coming into the corkscrew, which is the one thing you do not want going into this corner because it makes the grip just not there. Getting a little squirrely, but maintaining it just fine. Well done, Velvet Thunder. And unfortunately, a quarter of a second off his current pace, but that is A-okay. Coming around into turn 10, little bit of sliding and back into the dirt, but only two wheels it seems. Coming around turn 11 for the final time, belting it out, getting a little squirrely.
What a wild ride.
No! That is unfortunate. And as we see Fernando Button come across the line, setting a hot lap time of a 132.5. Oh, that is heartbreaking. Seeing somebody spin out on the last turn.
Yeah, this car is just so touchy, if you ask me. I mean, I know a lot of guys love to drive it. It's certainly sought after, but boy, it is so easy to make a mistake between the car and the track combination we have here.
Well, yes, but in the Miata's defense, because it can do no wrong, this track is also just tricky. Just gonna throw that out there, Slow-Mo. Leo,
that's fair. I love this track. Not so much the car, but hey, that's just me.
I'm the opposite. Love this car, not this track.
Yeah, that's why I'm in the booth.
Same here.
Me too.
But all in all, it was a great showing from all of these drivers, and it was a great introduction to some of these drivers, such as Wid. To see some of the other new faces, Velvet Thunder. Believe is this Racer 51's first season with the NRL? I can't recall.
I may have to check back on that one. I may have to go ask.
That's totally fair. But yeah, it's great to see just a mix of fresh faces and just league veterans, because we've got some people racing that have been here since season 1, right, Slow-Mo? So Shaggy, Salamander,
right?
Some others. But anyway, let's go take a look at the classified results, shall we? So, setting the fastest lap for this qualifying session will be Wid with a personal fastest lap and the fastest lap, which is a 128.815. Coming down in P2 for this qualifying session will be PDX Varial with a 129.646, followed by PHG Shaggy Doo 88, rounding out the top 3 with a 129.833. Moving on down the order, we have Velvet Thunder with a 130.1, Talon with a 130.166, not even a tenth of a second separating them. And speaking of not even a tenth separating them, we have MK in P6 with a 130.213. Moving further down the grid, we have Deputy Fishtail with a personal fastest lap of 130.571, followed by Racer 51 with a personal fastest lap of 130.858. And moving on over to P9 for the qualifying session will be Beef Castle with a 131.755, followed by Crewlib with a 131.832. And rounding out our qualifying session will be BHR Fernando B, aka Fernando Button, with a 132.892. It is actually astonishing to me, Leo and Slow-Mo, that we only had one driver get into the 128s, and then P2 was over half a second behind. If I'm racing in this, I'd be keeping a very close eye on WID, because that's coming out of the gate strong. Wouldn't you guys agree?
Yeah, I absolutely would. I mean, I've watched plenty of people practice, and that's the first 128 I've seen so far, and he was cooking, man. And that was a really clean lap.
Yeah, what are your thoughts, Leo?
I mean, yeah, that is a cooking lap. I suspect we might actually see a couple of more 128s. It's just how deep into the 128s they will go.
Right.
When the first settings first came out, I was like, well, there's potential to have a 128, but you have got to be on a razor's edge to figure out how hard you can push this car. And it's tricky, I'm not gonna lie. As a fellow Mazda person myself that loves the MX-5 and all things Mazda, in the game here, it is super hard to push this thing as hard as you know that you can.
That is absolutely true. And luckily, we have 5 rounds of drivers that will be riding the razor's edge with these cars. But while we wait for the next stint to get set up, we will be taking a brief intermission. So please stay tuned. Go grab yourself a beverage, some snacks, some popcorn, and do whatever you need. And we'll be right back in just a few moments. Welcome back, everybody. We've already gone through one stint of qualifying, and the show is still just getting started. We had a dominating showing from Wid, and I don't know. This next stint is also looking at me like it's going to be rather interesting. What do you think, Slow-Mo?
Yeah, I was a little surprised to see some of the cars hitting the pits as much as they did on the first heat there, but those guys had their strategies, and it looked like it worked out just fine for a few of those folks. So I expected these guys to kind of run out some fuel and run the car a little bit longer before they got into the pits, but that's not exactly what we're seeing. Leo, what do you think?
Agreed, Slow-Mo. It was a little strange. I thought they would have been fuel burning a whole lot more to get the thing as light as possible. I saw them go into the pits quite frequently. I don't know if that's just because they're like, I want a fresh set of tires to keep the grip up or what. I'm kind of shocked by that as well.
Yeah, I am as well. But regardless, let's quit the yappity yap and let's get back into this. So, for those of you just tuning in, hello, Toon, Slow-Mo, Leo, and we are doing qualifying for the preliminary round of the NRL's 4th season. Now, if you are just tuning in, we are at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca for a 15-minute qualifying session in the Mazda MX-5 Roadster touring car on the racing softs with 3 times fuel, 3 times tire, and heavy damage. The BOP is on, so there's no tuning, so nobody can do any funny business. And since this is a preliminary qualifying session just for placement, there are no points to be given this round, but the top 14 from tonight will be seated in Division A. The following 14 will be seated in Division B, and anybody placing 29th or lower will unfortunately be eliminated, but they will also receive a full refund of their entry fee. And for the stint, we have RWB Nav with Noob Supreme 69, PHG Fenrir, Redneck C137, Thumpy 2016, PHG Annie, Purple Perp 44, Stumpy, VTX Blindman GT, Rowdy Rooster, RWB Buckwild 76, and Ando. Listed under the names are their teams or free agencies. And also listed below will be their YouTube and or Twitch information, should it be applicable to them. And feel free to take a look at any of the drivers that are listed on this screen, because they might even be streaming their perspective of this qualifying session. But be sure, if you do, to leave this tab unmuted so you don't miss any of the racing action going on with the rest of the qualifier. Oh boy, there's a lot of new faces in this stint. I just realized that. So it's gonna be great to see all these drivers go and make a strong first impression like Wid did. So, and I mean, we also have plenty of returning faces. It's a good mixture of old and new. So I don't know, Leo, when you were watching the practice sessions, did anybody really stick out to you in this stint?
I'm gonna have to say probably Thumpy, Redneck, and Viking, and Ando. Ando's kind of a newcomer from what I know, so we'll see what they can do here.
That we will, and let's go and take a look on track and see what's going on. So, we will be jumping on board with Ando. This is I believe Ando is a part of Team Sector 7 Racing, and also from what I hear, very, very fast. I've heard rumors that we've got a lot of very, very fast drivers, so Division A and Division B will probably be very stacked. And on screen is Ando's driver card. I believe that's the flag for New Zealand? For Australia. I'm getting word from production, it is Australia. My apologies, Australia. But Ando is a part of Team Sector 7 Racing on the Fanatec podium. Never heard of that wheel before. But you can find Ando on YouTube at AJS747. As we see, Ando is doing his outlap and coming up into turn 5. Just trying to, get around the track, make sure those tires can get up to temperature. So it's no, this is going to be a fun one. This is going to be a really fun one. And up leading this gaggle of cars will be Purple Perp 44, who is coming into turn 10 right now. Looks like
They look a little tight, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
That is a little concerning if I'm 100% honest.
I'd be spacing out a little more.
I would too. But now we have Purple Perp starting on his first outlap coming up towards the Andretti hairpin, also known as turn 2. Keeping it nice and tight, running out, bringing it back in, jumping from curb to curb, and belting it out. Very well done from Purple Perp. Coming up into turn 3, getting onto the red and white curbing, and yeah, it's like clockwork for a lot of these drivers that have been putting in all of that practice. And Purple Perp runs a little wide, but is able to save it. Oh, thank goodness. Purple Perp 44 is a free agent and is driving on the Fanatec DD Pro. Let's see. Coming out into turn 5 and up towards turn 6. Let's see how Purple Perp fares. Narrowly avoiding the sausage, going onto the red and white curbing and the AstroTurf, and belting it up towards the corkscrew. Coming in and braking respectably and staying in 3rd gear. Interesting. But holds it nicely and comes around the 3rd time check with a 104.3. Purple Perp is also a new driver to this league, is he not, Slow-Mo?
Yes, Purple Perp is new, so I believe this is his first season.
All right. And coming up towards the start-finish line, let's see what it comes across with. And it will be a 130.3. Very well done. Now, Leo, while they're doing their qualifying sessions, I also see we have 4 PHG members in this. How much have all these drivers been working with each other, just in-house at PHG to really get their times down?
I mean, there has been so much discussion between all of them. I want to say there's been at least a practice lobby open every single day. From our really fast guys to our intermediate guys to everywhere in between. So I mean, it's definitely been an everyday, all day thing.
All right. And have you been jumping on track with any of these drivers?
I have a couple of times, yes. I know. I think what was it? Saturday of Friday last week, I actually had a lobby open for some of our PHG members. That way they can, just get the hang of it, have any questions they could ask me and whatnot, and see what knowledge we can all come up with to help the team out there.
All right, I understand. It's really nice to see things like that happen. And from what I can gather, it seems Purple Perp is still leading the way. Definitely making a strong impression here. So, Slow-Mo, as somebody who's been through all of this, what do you think the importance is of starting out strong and qualifying? Do you think it really puts you on the map for this competition, or do you think people have those up and down moments?
Well, not only does it put you on the map, it puts you in the A or the B division, right? So, I mean, that's huge for these guys. You've got a lot of folks out here who might not want to be in the B division. They want to be in the, in the top split. So these guys are definitely pushing, and as we saw with, so many of them putting in so much practice, they feel that this is important, and they really want to put a good show out here for qualifying.
All right, I got you. Ooh, and PHG Annie jumps onto that curb and gets a little squirrely, but is able to save it. Now, PHG Annie is a part of Team Papa's House of Game, and she is on a controller, but also uses a Logitech G29. You can find her on YouTube at Antoinette Taylor 2447. Sorry, for some reason my brain just blanked trying to read those numbers. But she's coming into the corkscrew in second and belting it out, taking a nice line. Very well done. And we see Ando has the new fastest lap, a 129.8. Very, very nice. And it looks like PhD Annie does have quite the bit of cars, and it looks like her husband in PhD Thumpy is going into the pits. As Annie comes around turn 11, a little tail hat, but all's well that ends well, and coming across the line to set a 135.6. Okay. Less than ideal, but there's still a good 8 minutes left of qualifying, so plenty of time to bounce back. As we jump on over with Noob Supreme 69. We keep getting some really wacky names in the league. Noob Supreme 69 is a free agent and is on the Logitech G29, and you can find them on Twitch at No Name Chomsky. I feel like that's a reference to something. Oh well. Judging by you two laughing, I guess it is.
I have no idea.
I don't know the reference if it is. Yeah.
Okay, you guys had me thinking I was just like so uncultured, I swear. But anyway,
Just
Noob
made
Supreme.
me tickle.
Oh, Noob Supreme goes off into the dirt and spins. And just narrowly avoids damage.
Oh.
And is flashing their headlights. Be careful when you're backing up, Noob. I don't know if ghosting is on, but that is still very terrifying to think about. Ghosting is not on from what I'm hearing from production. Then yeah, that could have been really ugly. But let's jump on board with PHG Fenrir. Coming up into turn 5, just avoiding the red and white, less than ideal racing line, but was able to make the most of it. Well done to PHG Fenrir. Coming up into turn 6, and yep, avoiding the sausage, which is the proper way to do this. PHG Fenrir is a part of Team Papa's House of Game and is on the Fanatec DD Pro. You can find him on YouTube at Viking_Wolf73. Now, PHG Fenrir is honestly a very nice guy, and he's honestly one of the most improved drivers we've ever seen in this league. Isn't that right, Leo?
It is 100% correct. I know he was in last season, fairly new to the racing thing on the simulating side. He has definitely come a long way. I can't say how proud I am of him to keep going with what he does, and I'm just ecstatic that he's back in it again.
Yeah, and he had a wheel malfunction recently, so he's driving on his backup wheel. And I was in a practice lobby with him earlier today, and he's still running good laps. So, high-end equipment or not, he's got skills.
Yes, he does.
Yes, 100%. He does. Now, as we jump on board with PHG Thumpy 2016 is a part of Team Papa's House of Game and is on the Logitech G29. You can find him on YouTube at Dwayne Taylor 3258 and is honestly holding a pretty solid pace right now. And I know this is only his second lap, but judging by how he's dancing around this track, I would be surprised if this time did not start jumping down. Little dicey coming out of the corkscrew and a little bit down on that time, but that is a-okay. We've still got just over 5 minutes of qualifying left, so there's no need to really worry as much. Coming through turn 10, Thumpy is revving the daylights out of this car, and coming into turn 11, keeping it nice and neat, getting into the ground. We'll get a little squirrely, but was able to save it, thank goodness. Whew. And comes across the line with a 130.908. Not bad at all. That puts him just under 2/10 behind RWB Buckwild, my apologies, who just came out of the corkscrew and is heading up into turn 10 as we speak. Holding a good line, missing the apex just a little bit, but no big deal. And RWB Buckwild is part of Team Red, White, and Blue Racing and is racing on the Fanatec DD Pro. Coming up into the start-finish straight, will be setting a 130.647, knocking 7/100ths of a second off his time. And in this competition, those hundredths definitely matter. Isn't that right, Slow-Mo?
They do, and what I find really interesting is there's a pretty big gap between P1 and P2 right now. Ando with that 129.3, and Purple Perp, if you look, his best lap so far is a 130.2. So there's a pretty big gap there, and I'm curious to see if we're going to see anybody else put up those 129s, or if Ando's going to be able to hit that 128.
We still have just over 3.5 minutes. Actually, no, we have just about 3.5 minutes left, so it's definitely conceivable. You guys know what I say, anything can happen, and so we could see Purple Perp drop a 128 out of nowhere with like 3 seconds to spare as Redneck goes into the box. And Leo, I just want to quickly tug at your ear because I see that livery, and is that a PHG approved livery?
I mean, it's William. He loves his Rick and Morty, so it's okay.
That's fair. I was just looking at the giant KFC logo rendition of Papa on the hood of his car.
I mean, who doesn't love a good rendition of that with Papa's face just smiling at you?
I mean, he is a really nice guy. But yeah, as we jump back on board with Ando, whose lap times are showing a lot of promise here. 129.7 on the previous lap, 129.3, 130.1. Yeah, Ando's been chipping away at that time in every way possible. And
yeah,
unfortunately, won't be doing that. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, notice he's at a 3/4 tank of fuel. So he actually, I don't believe he's been in the pits. He's running all his laps consecutively. Where you see some of these guys, if you go through the field, have hit the pits and they're full. So I wonder if that fuel makes that big of a difference. It looks like it does.
It definitely might. GT7 did in the past couple months have a physics update, so the car weight due to fuel could definitely have more of an impact now than it ever has before. But as we jump on over with Rowdy Rooster, who is coming up into turn 11, see, personal fastest lap so far is a 130. Did he just drift around that?
Yes, he did.
That was
nice.
insane. And coming across the line with a 130.6, 0.02 of a second slower, but my goodness, we should take off at least a 10th for style right there. That was magnificent.
He looked good doing it, didn't he?
Now, Rowdy Rooster is a free agent using the Logitech G Pro wheel, and you can find him on YouTube at rowdyrooster.com. I didn't know you could put dots in your name on YouTube. That's interesting. Okay, either way.
Way to do anything.
Yeah. But it looks like Rowdy Rooster is setting semi-consistent 130s, so very nice showing. Kicking up a little bit of dust heading up towards turn 6. But, I'm just drinking this in. This is great to see. All these drivers are driving clean, driving respectfully, giving each other space, and they're just doing the absolute best they can. It's nice. It is very nice, especially given how everything else is going in GT. But as we approach the final 30 seconds, Redneck is going. Oh, okay. I guess
he's going to the pit. That's where he's going.
I guess Redneck felt a spot of rallycross before. I don't know. And whoa, what just happened to Nav? Let's go and take a look at the replay, shall we? Ooh, look at that livery. All right, so we see Nav coming through the corkscrew, everything looking business as usual. And, ooh, I was actually up on his time. Narrowly avoided the sausage, but understeered off. Oh, that is just heartbreaking to see.
Saved it, though.
Yeah, was a very nice save, yes, but that spin did cost Nav shaving almost a 10th off his time, which would have put him closer to Purple Perp. But let's go and take a look who else might be on a hot lap. Gentlemen?
Buck Wild is...
yeah, I think Rowdy's coming through still.
What position is Rowdy in?
Rowdy's a P5 right now. There we go.
All right. Yep. And as we see Rowdy coming up and into the dirt, is it already time? Oh my goodness! Yep. Is it already time in the season for the commentator's curse?
Thinking
anyway, jumping over to PHG Thumpy. Oh, please, Thumpy, don't. Okay. Coming into turn 10, Thumpy is drifting the car a little bit, but keeping it in nice and neat fashion. Coming up into the final turn for the last time and belting it on out using all of the track available to him. And will Thumpy be able to set a new fastest lap? And he does! A 1:30.449. Fantastic work from Thumpy. Leo, do you see anybody else on track at the moment?
PHG Fenrir is finishing up his hot lap at a 1:31.867. And
I think that's it, yeah.
All right.
All done there.
Yep, that'll be all she wrote for this qualifying stint. So we'll just let the remaining time run out, and then we will go and take a look at those classified results. Gentlemen, since you two have been jumping from car to car in the lobby, did anybody stick out to you?
You want me to go first? Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously Ando stuck out. He was putting down some really good times. As I was just kind of flipping through the drivers, I know we talked about where the split from A to B is going to be and where the bubble for elimination is going to be. And, the more I look at the times that we're seeing here, I think we're going to see a couple guys in the 130s, the low 130s that might make that A division. The bubble, I'm not so sure where that elimination bubble is going to be yet.
All right, and Leo?
I mean, of course, all my fellow PHG people, Thumpy stood out. That last second grab at the fastest time they had. William was definitely, or Redneck, I should say, was definitely up there for a second. And I think that's about it. I mean, we've all seen these people race before, so I mean.
Well, we've seen some of them, but.
Some, yeah.
But anyway, let's go and take a look at those classified results, shall we? So, placing in the highest for this qualifying session, second heat, will be Ando with a personal fastest lap of 1:29.347, followed by Purple Perp 44 in second with a 1:30.215 personal fastest lap, followed by RWB Nav with a fastest lap of 1:30.403, rounding out our top three for this heat, followed by PHG Thumpy 2016, setting a personal fastest lap of 1:30.449. Rounding out our top five will be PHG Redneck C137 with a personal fastest lap of 1:30.467. Not even 0.03 of a second separating them. That just warms my heart in so many ways. Moving on down the grid, we have Rowdy Rooster with a personal fastest lap of 1:30.606, followed by RWB Buck Wild 76 with a personal fastest lap of 1:30.647. Not even a tenth of a second separating them. My goodness, we've got some close racing here. Moving our way down the grid, we have PHG Fenrir Evil with a personal fastest lap of 1:31.264. Going on down to P9, we have PHG Annie with a personal fastest lap of 1:33.887. And rounding out our qualifying heat will be Noob Supreme 69 with a personal fastest lap of 1:34.420. This was good. I definitely saw some closer qualifying times to their other competitors. This season is going to be a lot more action-packed and a lot closer than seasons past. What are your thoughts, Leo?
I mean, we've got some incredible racers in this league. I mean, looking at these times, they are so close together that I can't tell who's going to place where. Like what Slow-Mo has been saying, that bubble, I have no idea. I usually could figure it out, but I mean, it's too hard for me to even call, to tell you the truth. I'm just excited to see what these guys could do in an actual race.
As am I. What about you, Slow-Mo?
Well, it's incredible to me that, the pressure that's on these guys and how well most of them are really doing under it. I mean, Leo, I know you ran some laps. I ran some laps. I put up a couple good times, but I certainly couldn't do it consistently. And if you put me on the spot and put me in that lobby and said, all right, now run your, 10 laps and try not to hit anything, it wouldn't happen. So the skill level these guys have is just it's exceptional, and we're really getting to witness some great driving here. This is going to shape up to be an exciting season, no question for that.
Could not agree more, Slow-Mo. But while we wait for our final heat of the evening to get filed in and warmed up, we will be taking another intermission. So please stay tuned, and we'll be right back at you here in just a few minutes. Welcome back, everybody. It is time we get ready for our third and final heat for the evening for this preliminary qualifying for the NRL's fourth season. My name is Toon, accompanied by Slow-Mo and Leo. It is a pleasure to have your company. And I would also like to quickly give an extra special thank you to PHG Redneck C137, aka William Lines. Actually, I guess I'm thanking him twice because he just gave us yet another super chat. He gave us a $20 super chat at the start of this broadcast and has just given us yet another 5. Yo, let's go. Good luck and have fun, everyone. See, that's the friendly camaraderie that I love to see in this league. And I will just also let all of you know that this league is 100% community funded. So any donations through super chat, super stickers, Swiss money, bank transfers, anything in between goes right into this league and will fund the prize pool for our competitors at the end of the season for the grand final. But with all that said and done, for those of you just tuning in, let's go and look one more time at what our drivers are up against for this qualifying session. We are still at the Sunshine State of California in the WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, and they are driving the Mazda MX-5 Roadster touring car, just a beautiful piece of machinery. They are doing a 15-minute qualifying session with no tuning allowed. Mechanical damage is set to heavy with a 3x tire and fuel rate, and they are racing on the Racing Soft compound tires. This has been a great evening. And since there is no actual racing and this is just a preliminary session, there are no points to be allocated. But the top 14 from all 3 of these heats will be placed in Division A. The following 14 will be seated in Division B. And the 7 that do not make the cut will unfortunately be eliminated, but will receive a 100% full refund of their entry fee. So, yeah. This has already been an action-packed night, and with how close these times are, it might even be by the 1000th that Division A and B are separated. But let's go and take a look at the driver lineup, shall we? So we have, for this final heat, Chief Apollo 11, PHG Skellington, Lewis, our Season 3 Division B champion, coming back to defend his title or maybe even claim a new one. PHG Papa, PHG Salamander MN, The Truth Serum, PHG Bells 15, Sugar Shuffles, Lacabra 809, BHR Pelias Pangolin, and Darken Azrael. And listed under their names are their team affiliations or agents, and also listed under is their YouTube or Twitch, should it be applicable. If you want to go see if they are streaming their perspective, by all means, knock yourself out, but please make sure to leave this tab open and unmuted so you do not miss any other racing action happening outside and around the drivers. Slow-Mo, Leo, third stint. How are we feeling?
I'm pumped, dude. There's some really, really good drivers in this last heat. Obviously, they're going to put in these final times and kind of let everything settle. So I think there's a couple fan favorites in this heat with like Sugar Shuffles, plenty of PhD. You can never mistake those guys. You got Salamander, you got Skellington. So I think there's also the new face that we talked about, Pelias, and I think we're all excited to see what he can do.
Very, very, very much agree with you. Leo, what about you?
Oh man, I'm kind of sad it's going to be the last qualifying round. I've been enjoying the heck out of seeing a bunch of these Mazda touring cars go around this track and seeing these guys push it to the absolute limit. I'm so happy to see that we've got a lot of the returning and a couple of new faces, like Slow-Mo said, like Pelias, and I believe Stumpy, yeah, and Darken Azrael, yeah. I'm glad to see that there are some new faces and against most of these veterans. But
is that Azrael? It might be Azrael.
It might be Azrael. I know it's a name you don't really see that often. But either way, enough chit chat. Let's go and jump on track and see what is going on. And we are on board with Chief Apollo 11, who appears to be leading this conga line of cars out for the final qualifying heat. And it's definitely make or break time. They've had plenty of time to practice, kind of scope out the competition, so they're probably the most well prepared for this. Wouldn't you agree, Leo?
I would say so. I mean, they've had 2 chances to see what people were doing. That last minute practice, they may have figured out something. So we may see some really quick times or either really consistent times.
That is very true. And on screen, you will see Chief Apollo 11's driver card. Chief Apollo is a free agent driving on a Logitech Dream Pro wheel and also using a PSVR2 headset. Very nice. You can find Chief Apollo on YouTube at Boyd Gaming. And we see Chief Apollo coming up into the corkscrew for the first time in this 15-minute qualifier. A little bit of tire squeal, but nothing too severe. And holding it nice and neat. It looks like the back part of the grid has fanned out a little bit. People just trying to get some extra room. That is definitely the best way to go about this. Coming through turn 10, Chief Apollo is holding it nicely. And yeah, we are seeing some cars in tow. Coming around turn 11 onto the start straight as we jump on board with S7R, the Truth Serum. We have got quite a bit of traffic, honestly. It's got PhD Skellington right there, a little bit of overlap. Hope these competitors remember that this is just a qualifying session and not a race. We do not need to get really, argy-bargy with it. But looks like they get through the Andretti hairpin just fine, and it's kind of
Jack
and Jack does go off, and looks like the True Serum will be able to focus on qualifying for the time being. Let's go and take a look at a replay to see just what happened. So Jack Skellington given plenty of space and just unfortunately running a little wide, but it was good to see Skellington giving room to his competitor. Excellent show of sportsmanship, and thankfully this again is a qualifying session, so no harm, no foul. As we see the True Serum come into the hairpin, he is a part of Team Sector 7 Racing and racing on a Fanatec podium. Holding it nicely, third time check, a 105.3, looking very good coming up into P10. Looks like PhD Bells did a small bit of rally crossing going into that dirt for a sec, but was able to save it and keep it on the track. Coming into turn 11 and onto the start-finish straight, holding pretty solid speed too, if I might add. Chief Apollo sets a 131.6 and a True Serum with a 131.3. Very nicely done. As I'm seeing names pop up, I saw Bells with a 131.8. What do we got here? Skellington with a 135.6. Azrael 131.2. Papa with a 131.3, I think that said. So everybody's currently finding the rhythm and just getting ready to go. Now we jump on board with PhD Papa, who set a 131.434. And in just a second, we should see Papa's driver card. Papa is the founder and proprietor of Team Papa's House of Game and races on a Logitech G29. I did not know that part, but you can find him live on YouTube right now at Papa's House of Game, all one word. And yeah, Papa is just an overall great guy. He's got a good team going on here. And Leo, what's the tagline for PhG?
Better people, better racers. Better. Oh.
I'm getting word from production that it's actually better racers, better people. Right. So this is egg on the face for the recruiting manager of PhG, might I add.
Leo just got
anyway, he just got promoted.
Leo just got promoted.
Leo got demoted. I've been staging that mutiny for months, trying to get him access recruiting manager, but oh well. Papa is now coming across into the final turn as we jump on board. With Police Pangolin. I am getting word from production that Papa is currently trying to burn fuel. And that is an interesting livery from Polias. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I guess invest in socks. Everybody go get you some racing socks. Oh. But Pangolin is coming across the line and setting a 130.1, which will give him P2. EHR Polaris Pangolin is part of Team Beehive Racing and alternates between a controller and a Logitech G29, and also the daylights out of that sausage in the Andretti hairpin, and runs off just a little bit. I'm not sure what's going on, but you can find Polias on YouTube at Polias_Pangolin. It seems Chief Apollo right now does currently have the fastest lap at a 1:30.009. So Chief Apollo is definitely on the precipice of that 129 territory, which is very, very good to see. As we, GT7 things, fret not, viewers. Let's go and jump on board with Luis over in P5. Luis is, as stated before, a NRL champion. He was the Division B champion for Season 3, and he is out here to take another crack at it. He might be in contention for Division A championship. He might be able to secure a back-to-back win in Division B. It's hard telling at this rate because this racing is so close. He might... It's anybody's game, really. Division A, Division B, who knows? But currently has a personal fastest lap of 131.046, so definitely pushing that 130 territory. Now, Leo, as you're driving through the, as you're cycling through the grid, it appears everybody has kind of spread out a little bit. How's everybody faring? Is anybody pushing purple? Anybody trying to get the rhythm down? Ooh, and Luis sets a 130.736. Very nice.
I'm thinking most of them are probably fuel burning and trying to keep the tire temps down with that new tire model. You got to be kind of cautious on these new tires. If you get them too hot, they become very slick. They're all pretty much trying to push the car as much as they can, but at the same time still keeping that speed. They're probably trying to get the fuel tank as low as possible to get this thing as light as possible. I'm not noticing any purple sectors or anything like that at the moment as I'm cycling through, but yeah.
All right, and we are currently on board with PHG Salamander MN. PHG Salamander is a part of Team Papa's House of Game, racing on a Logitech G923, and you can find him on YouTube at Salamander MN. And fun factoid about good old Sal, he was rated one of the best livery designers in the world for GT7 through Digit Gaming's community. So that is definitely nothing to scoff at. Him and Sugar Shuffles are, their reputation precedes them. They're some of the finest livery designers this community has. As we go and jump on board with Darken Azriel. If you do watch this, please let me know if I'm saying your name right. If not, I am very sorry. Just saying that in advance. And it looks like Azriel has a personal fastest lap right now of 130.754. Not a bad time whatsoever. And that is a pretty livery. And I also do like how that bumper says, or that license plate says, my other car is a car. But Darken Azriel is part of Team Infinite Octane Racing and is racing on a Logitech G Pro wheel. That is not a cheap piece of kit, folks. And coming into the corkscrew, get a little squirrely, but is able to... Azriel was able to save it, but just. So won't be breaking any lap records right now, but thank goodness there was no harm. Get a little squirrely, almost getting into the dirt, but luckily avoiding that. Coming up into the final turn and coming out at a relatively solid pace too. Let's see what the time is looking like as it could be a 131.275. Lost a little bit of time, but that is a-okay. We still have just over 5 minutes left. And let's jump and take a look at Sugar Shuffles, who was voted the best livery designer in the world through Digit Gaming's community. Currently has a personal fastest lap of 131.278 and is on an out lap, it would appear. Coming across for another hot lap. Let's take a look at what Sugar Shuffles can pull off this go around. Coming up into the Andretti hairpin, and yep, running out, bringing it back in. Very well done. Sugar Shuffles is a free agent and is racing on the Logitech G29. You can find him on YouTube at Sugar Shuffles, and I believe he does speed art of livery making, if I'm remembering. But he also does do some racing. Very good driver, very great guy. Coming up into turn 5. Don't know where my head is right now. And looks like everything is running nice and neat. I think he's definitely gonna be setting, I'd say, somewhere around the low 131s, maybe high 130s. This is looking like a very fast lap. And coming up into the corkscrew, holding it nicely. And I do want to also make special note of Sugar Shuffle's livery. There are some pieces on that livery in reference to the organization Mothers Against Drunk Driving, in solidarity to one of our other competitors who unfortunately lost a friend due to a drunk driver, and our heart goes out to you. So it's very heartwarming to see the members of this community showing support through, cancer awareness pieces on their livery, Mothers Against Driving, pretty much anything they can to help stand in solidarity with their fellow competitors and really their friends. Now, as we jump on board with Stumpy, who is a free agent on a controller, he is currently rocking a 131.618 as a personal fastest lap, and coming up into P10. A little bit of tire squeal, but nothing to write home about. And coming into turn 11, how will he go? Misses the apex but is able to save it. Little tail happy, but was able to hold on nice and tight. I think that is a nod to PHG Papa, because Papa does love his Mountain Dew, and that is one Mountain Dew out livery. Moving on over to PHG Skellington, who currently has the personal fastest lap of a 131.687. PHG Skellington is part of Team Papa's House of Games, racing on a Thrustmaster T150. I think that is the only Thrustmaster we have seen this evening.
I think so.
But you can find him on YouTube at Jack of Trades 0911. And coming up into turn 3, and just getting on that apex and belting it out, kicking up a little bit of dust, but not enough to actually matter. Missing the apex for turn 4, but holding it nicely and carrying as much speed as possible. Very well done. Now let's see how turn 5 fares, because there is a pesky little sausage right there. Missing it and keeping on the apex. Very, very well done. And I also see that the gap between Stumpy and Skellington it's less than a tenth, not even 600ths of a second. Well, this is close. But I'm sorry, I'm getting word from production. It is 0.069. Nice. But I digress. Now coming up into turn 9, getting a little bit of understeer, but holding it together. Very good from Skellington. Now, Leo, cycling through the grid, how's everything looking on your end?
I mean, people are just doing their laps that they've got. There's plenty of space between all the competitors. Not any one of them is bunched up together, but I am noticing that a lot of these times are within 300ths of a second of each other. I mean, it's down to the 10th some places.
Ooh, this is gonna be tricky for our production team and our officiators, because we got 30 seconds left, and if it's this close, I do not envy them whatsoever. And Papa spins. Why? Oh, the commentator's curse is back. Oh Lord. Slow-mo, tell me what's going on your end, please.
Ironically, I was watching Papa as well. He was putting in some really good laps and staying pretty consistent. And I got to practice quite a bit with Papa before this. And Bell's on the curb and spins out. Oh boy! As you get to
that final lap.
That's right. And as you get to the end of this qualifying session, that car gets lighter, and you've worked off all that fuel, and your tires are warm. Boy, it can turn from good to bad in a hurry.
That it can, and looks like Pelias Pangolin is on his final lap and might actually be able to cause an upset. There's only 0.03 of a second separating him and Chief Apollo, and he's already up 200 seconds. He can put all this together. He could definitely pull a last-minute 129. So we'll have to just wait and see. And come on! Oh, unbelievable! I'm going to be put on the cross after this.
Wow.
Let's jump on board with who's still running a lap right now. Oh, hold on.
Oh, Truth Serum just snuck through.
Yep, just stuck through with a 129.775. Very well done. That's why I say anything can happen, folks, because that just proves it.
And that, I don't think we have anybody else on a hot lap. I think that's it.
That was it.
All right. Well, that wow. So, Leo, you told me those times are really close right now?
Yes.
Oh, boy. I can't wait to see what that looks like when we go over the results.
I think the biggest gap is between Pelias and Darkin and Azrael. And that's 0.379 between each other. Other than that, everybody's in the hundreds.
Oh.
The gap from Stumpy to Sugar Shuffled is 1,000.
What?
It's
1,000.
Oh my God. Okay, let's see what and I should quickly throw out, folks, that this isn't all that there is for this preliminary round, because tomorrow afternoon there will also be a preliminary qualifying session hosted by Flaw Genius Gaming, TKs, and S7R Tati. Just trying to make sure I said that right. If not, I'm very sorry. So yeah, it does not stop here. There's definitely more racing action to come tomorrow, and you will not want to miss it. But as we wind down to the last 20 seconds of this qualifier, actually there's a decent gap between Sugar Shuffles and Skellington at 0.7 of a second, but yeah, that 1,000th of a second separating Stumpy and Sugar Shuffles is absolutely insane. Honestly, I would have to ask production during the break what would happen if two drivers got the exact same time for a fastest lap. But anyway, let's go and take a look at those classified results, shall we? So, coming in at the absolute last second and pulling off an upset, S7R to True Serum sets the fastest lap of the qualifying session with a 129.775, followed by Chief Apollo 11 with a personal fastest lap of 130.009, and held that for about 99% of the qualifying session. Rounding out the top three for this qualifier will be BHR Pelias Pangolin with a personal fastest lap of 130.048, followed by Darkin Azrael with a personal fastest lap of 130.427. Rounding out our top five will be Luis with a personal fastest lap of 130.472, followed by PHG Papa with a fastest lap of 130.598. PHG Salamander MN with a personal fastest lap of 130.688, followed by PHG Bells with a fastest lap of 130.799. Moving on down the grid, we have Stumpy with a fastest lap of 130.968, followed by Sugar Shuffles with a fastest lap of 130.969. Yeah, it is 1,000th of a second. You couldn't even blink fast enough for that time difference. And then rounding out our qualifying session will be PHG Skellington with a personal fastest lap of 131.687. So, yeah, I guess that was close. That was really close. Now, while we have our production team tabulate all of these results for you to show you who will be going into Division A for Friday, Division B for Friday, and the 7 people that will unfortunately not be advancing. We are going to take one final break, and when we come back, we will have that all presented nice and neatly for you. So please stay tuned. Welcome back, everybody. It is time we bring this night to a close. Thank you all so very much for your patience. And thank you to Luis for the $6.99 donation. I don't know if it's possible to buy your way out of Division A, but I mean, maybe. I'm not sure. I don't run this. I just talk. But anyway, enough of the chit chat. Let's go and take a look at who is getting placed where, shall we? So, for our first run, we have for Division A, it will be on Friday, mind you. It will be Wid Ando, PDX Varial, The True Serum, PHG Shaggy Doo, Chief Apollo 11, BHR Polias Pangolin, Velvet Thunder, Talon, MK, Purple Perp, RWB Nav, Darken Asriel, and Thumpy in our Division A. And looking through these times, from Chief Apollo to Thumpy, it is not even half a second separating them. This is going to be a crazy season. My God. But moving on to Division B. Now, bear in mind Thumpy's time of a 4.49. So what separated? Oh my goodness. Not even 200th of a second separating Division A and Division B. So for Division B, we will have Redneck C137, Luis. I guess you could buy your way out of Division A. Look at that. Deputy Fishtail, PHG Papa, Rowdy Rooster, RWB Buckwild 76, PHG Salamander MN, PHG Bells, Racer 51, Stumpy, Sugar Shuffles, PHG Fenrir, PHG Skellington, and Beef Castle. That also means, unfortunately, Krellub, Fernando Button, PHG Annie, Noob Supreme 69, VTX Blindman, PHG Turbo, and Lacabro will not be advancing at this moment. I should throw out that these are also very, very much provisional, pending steward review, and there are some of these drivers that were not able to make it because of the current hurricane that is happening right now. So to those of you being affected by the hurricane, you may or may not be watching it, but just know we are thinking of you and we hope you are safe. So this is all subject to change. But yeah, that is wow, that is insane. With that being said, though, shall we go and take a look at what round one will be next week? We will start with Division B, and for those of you new here, this is honestly my favorite parts of the evening. Ah, yes. We are at Goodwood Motor Circuit for 25 laps in the Lamborghini Huracan car.
Oh,
It'll
yeah.
be a 10-minute qualifier. It will be a grid start with a false start check with BOP on, allowing brake balance changes, mechanical damage set to heavy, 3 times tire, 3 times fuel, and it will be just on the racing soft tires. Now, for those of you that were seated in Division B, I'd take a quick picture and get a rudimentary lobby up. The full settings will be available shortly after the broadcast. So, yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. A Group 4 car on Goodwood where there's really no walls, only the Great Green Beyond. Yeah, we're starting the season off strong. What do you think, Leo?
I mean, I honestly haven't raced here that much at all. So even just the few lobbies that I've been in, I've always found myself cutting the grass with any vehicle. It is kind of tricky because there's not really any braking markers that you can use to make sure you could stop in time to make some of these sharp corners. So I'm very excited to see this. I know that Huracan is a little bit of a tricky thing under braking, so.
Right, I gotcha. Slow-mo, what are your thoughts looking at this?
Oh, I think it's going to be exciting. I mean, that's a tight track. These guys are really going to have to be on their A game to get passes done. It can be done. There are places to pass, but these guys are going to be using up all the track. And it's all-wheel drive, right? So maybe that helps them if they end up running off track. You are definitely going to see people getting their tires in the grass through this round.
Yeah, I definitely see where you're coming from. And I should also throw out, for those of you that are new to watching the broadcast, the races for Division B and Division A are also different depending on the day. So this Division B race you see right here will not be the Division B race that the Saturday drivers will have. So just wanted to quickly throw that out there. But let's go and take a look at what Division A has for their first round. We are going from Britain to New York. They will be at Watkins Glen full course for 16 laps in the Group 3 Lexus RCF GT3 2017. They will also have a 10-minute qualifier with a grid start with false start check. BOP will be on, allowing brake balance, mechanical damage set to heavy with a 2 times tire wear, 4 times fuel, and they will have racing soft and racing hards available to them, but there will be no mandatory tire. So I think those Division A drivers are probably giggling right now, looking at what Division B has to go with. But fret not, you Division A drivers, especially if you're veterans, you know how this song and dance goes. But Slow-Mo, we'll start with you. What are your thoughts on this car and track combination?
Well, I enjoy driving the Glen and have had some really, really good heated battles with folks. And based on, the times that we just saw that this group is going to have here, this is going to be really exciting. It's going to be tight. You're going to see a couple different strategies to play with the tire choices. So, I think these guys are going to rip Watkins Glen apart. Leo, what do you?
I love this circuit.
I'm with y'all. I absolutely love this circuit. It is kind of a bit of a pain for me, especially going through the bus stop and stuff like that. But this Lexus is pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't used it a whole lot, but the Watkins Glen racetrack always does provide a lot of good racing and a lot of opportunities for passing. Also, some really bad wrecks if you happen to get tapped going into the pits.
Oh yeah, that pit lane entry is a nightmare at times. And also, if qualifier is anything to go off of, I don't think either division will have ghosting. Division B might, just like Season 3 did, but we can all say with full confidence, Division A most likely will not have ghosting, so you guys are going to have to drive very carefully. Oh, I'm getting word from production that there is no ghosting, period. So all of you out there, that's heavy damage, and we have a full team of stewards. Drive and be on your best behavior. But with all of that said and done, I guess it is. With all that said and done, I should remind all of you that qualifying will continue tomorrow afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, or whatever time it is now. And feel free to make conversions as needed for your local time zone. And again, that will be hosted by S7R Tati, T-Case, and Flawed Genius Gaming. We hope to see you there, and please make sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification so you don't miss any NRL Season 4 racing action. Whew. Well, it's been 209 days, but I think we started this off strong and definitely made it worth the wait. Boys, do you have any closing remarks before we go on home for the night?
Leo, I'll go first. I really enjoyed watching those guys tonight, putting down awesome laps. The practice paid off. These guys have been practicing for weeks now since they found out the car track combination. And boy, the difference in skill level is not far off from the people in the A division, and even some of the guys that got eliminated. They ran good laps. That was really competitive, and that's just going to carry on through the season. So really excited to see how our first week's races are going to play out. In the meantime, I'm going to go get myself some of that Naughty Racing League gear so I can sport that between races and show everybody my team spirit.
Glad to hear it. Leo, what about you, buddy?
I am excited to see how this goes. I mean, even tonight, I was not expecting the times to be that close. Even though this MX5 does bring out very close racing, I couldn't imagine what that bubble looked like from the times that we saw. I'm super ecstatic to see how these drivers do in the next coming races. I'm just glad we're back at home and we're doing the best we can with everything going on.
Right, I gotcha. Well, then, once again, congratulations to all of the drivers that competed tonight. You all did an amazing job. And remember, those times are completely provisional. We still have a lot more to factor in. So do not lose hope. But yeah, with all of that said and done, thank you all so much for tuning in. Stay safe out there. Please be sure to tune in tomorrow for the Saturday heats of qualifying. And we will see you all next week for round 1. Bye-bye.